Okay.
Attorney Cecil, yung link na binigay ni Mirla.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For today's practice. Sige, pwede na ngayon?
Attorney George.
Pero Attorney Cecil, hindi ka na namin maririnig ha pag nandun ka. So, if you want to comment, kailangan kang bumalik dun sa Zoom.
Meron ka pa ba ibang gadget, Attorney Cecil?
Yes, sir. Naka-ano na po ako sa phone yung YouTube and then sa ibang gadget po yung Zoom.
Ayan, sige. Mag-comment ka ha kung anong kung ano man.
Sige. O yan, game. Rundown
okay
tayo.
Po, sir.
Testing. Okay.
Testing. Okay.
Mahina ka, Ian. Ian ba yan?
Oo, mahina.
Rob, mahina ka. Better, pero parang malayo ka.
Yep. Better. Right? Meaning me, Miss T, and Esa. Okay.
So sorry, the whole time they will not hear, like meaning, for example,
the national anthem.
Yeah. Hindi, sorry, question lang. Yung for the actual event, will they hear it or not? Okay.
We will. Okay.
So for the practice also later with them, will they hear it or not? Sige. Okay. Sorry, but what did you say earlier para lang maintindihan ko? Sa practice lang yun. Pero yung dry run natin, na actual dry run was na ESA and actual Okay, sige, got it.
Yes.
Okay. Naka-pin ba yan or is it my screen? Kanya-kanyang pin siya. Sige. Okay, tandaan natin, Mirla, nasabi natin kay Dino to pin yung screen HYP.
Yung pinning even on the actual date. Paano nga mag-pin ulit? On my screen? Broadcast. Okay.
Some more?
Okay. So we'll do this later and on the actual date. Attorney Cecil, clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear naman, no? Alright.
Or try, complete ba natin yung yung script or rundown lang? Rundown lang, no? May meeting daw si Mikey. Okay, sige. Okay lang.
Multitask.
Sige. So Rob, later you will you will run down like this na parang start with the pero bibilisan natin, and then you will also tell HRD her cue, right? Okay, good. Di ba lupang hinirang muna?
Balang magiging belas ang sinanganan, harap ng puso
Rob,
sa dibdib
question lang.
ay
Rob, sorry. Yung sound, kailan, so nag-uusap tayo kasi before, diba? So nagkakataon ka, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In the practice later and in the actual, naririnig yung conversation natin. We should stop talking.
Nadidinig ko yung conversation.
So Attorney Cecil lang naririnig mo lang kami, pero si Rob, hindi mo siya naririnig.
Nadidinig ko din siya, tsaka, hindi nadidinig nyo ba?
Sa
Nadidinig ko.
YouTube, Cecil, sa
Oo.
YouTube mo naririnig?
Yes, sir. Nadidinig ko lahat.
Nasa broadcast kasi si Attorney Cecil, nasa YouTube siya.
Hindi ko naririnig si Rob. Ano ko na yung Zoom ko, i-mute ko na kasi nalilito na ako dun sa delay.
Sorry.
Unmute mo na lang kung may comment ka.
Oo, sir. If ever, sir, na late po ako makapag-comment kasi late pa po yung sa YouTube.
Okay lang.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
So, Rob, sorry. So, para lang maayos natin yan. So, important din kasi pag binrief natin later si SA and si HRD. So, halimbawa, nagsalita sila, yung before pa mag-live, hindi naririnig o naririnig na yon. Okay, so kailan mo siya i-unmute? Okay, important yan. Okay. Okay.
Alright.
Okay, make sure you remember that later, ha? Okay, but I'll write it down also. Okay, sorry. Game na.
Just a reminder, while we remove the last page of the script, at the last slide pala, slide 71, we will continue to record this, Rob?
Attorney George, yes po.
Okay, thanks for our file. Thank you. Okay, Rob, walang magsasabing national anthem na, no? Wala na? Oh. All right.
Okay.
Belas ang sinanganan, hanap ng puso, sa dibdib ko'y buhay. Upang hinilang, kuyanda ng magiging, sa manlulupin, di na pasisigil, sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa labing kumbaga, may dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang isla ng matawag ko'y ay na nagdidinig, ang bituin at araw na kailan kapay di magdidinig. Lupa ng araw ng walhari at sipra, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may maghahati, ang mamatay na dahil sa'yo.
Okay, good afternoon to all. The annual stockholders meeting of your bank will now come to order. Do I go through all, George? Sige, okay, welcome. Thank you for joining us in this live webcast. Joining me in this meeting are Mr. Eugene Acevedo, our President and CEO, Attorney George Gilbert de la Cuesta, our Corporate Secretary, the Vice Chairperson of the Board, the members of our Board Directors, the officers of the bank, and the representatives of Punong Bayan and Araulio are also joining us online in this meeting. Sorry, so wala na si PM, no?
Wala na.
Okay. Okay, and then, Mr. Secretary, have the stockholders of the bank been duly notified of this meeting?
Yes, Madam Chair. We sent to our stockholders of record as of May 30, 2022. The notice, wala pang
Yung
time.
name po ba ni HY kailangan laging meron?
Mr. Secretary, have the stockholders of the bank been duly notified of this meeting?
Sorry. Hello? Pag
Yes, Madam Chair. We sent to our
hindi
stockholders
naman.
of
Okay.
record as
Matagal yung delay, no? Narinig ko. Parang 1
matagal.
minute ata. Okay, pero yung nakikita naman ni na ma'am, ito is almost ano, no? Okay, okay. We proceed again.
Okay. All right. I'll depend on you then.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, have the stockholders of the bank been duly notified of this meeting?
Yes, Madam Chair. We sent to our stockholders of record as of May 30, 2022, the notice of today's annual stockholders meeting in 3 ways. First, by posting at the bank's website. Second, by disclosure in the Philippine Stock Exchange. And third, by publication for 2 consecutive days on May 30 and 31, 2022, in the print and online business section of 2 newspapers of general circulation, namely the Philippine Star and Manila Bulletin. Accordingly, our stockholders have been duly notified of this meeting in accordance with our bylaws and applicable SEC rules and circulars. In addition, the voting rights of stockholders and the voting instructions were provided in the definitive information statement, which was all disclosed to the PSE and made available to the stockholders.
Thank you. Do we have a quorum at this meeting?
Madam Chair, there are present in this meeting stockholders owning a total of 1,580,041,890 common and preferred shares of stocks, representing 77.54% of the total outstanding common and preferred entitled to vote. Therefore, we have a quorum and this meeting may proceed. We will reflect the breakdown of the stockholders present in terms of their mode of participation and the percentage of the outstanding shares that they own in the minutes.
Thank you. While we are holding this meeting in a virtual format because of government regulations that prevent us from in-person meetings, we strive to provide our shareholders the opportunity to participate in this meeting. Our corporate secretary will now share the rules of conduct and voting procedures for this meeting.
Madam Chair, the rules of conduct and voting tabulation procedures are in the notice of the annual stockholders meeting. I would just like to highlight the following. 1. Only stockholders who notified the bank by email at rcbc-asm-2022@rcbc.com on or before June 19, 2022 until 5 p.m. and who duly registered by email are allowed to access the virtual meeting at www.rcbc.com/asm2022. 2. Only those who registered were allowed to send their questions or comments on the agenda items to corsec@rcbc.com. And only those questions we received by 5 p.m. of June 24, 2022 were considered for the open forum at today's meeting. 3. For comments or questions we received after June 24 up to 4 p.m. today, we will reply by email. The process for stockholders to ask questions was provided in the procedure for the annual stockholders meeting, which was attached to the definitive information statement. 4. As indicated in the provided ballot, there are 7 resolutions proposed for approval by the stockholders in this meeting. Each proposed resolution will be shown on the screen as the same is being taken up. 5. Stockholders or their representative cast their votes on the proposed resolutions by completing, dating, signing, and sending the form to the bank via rcbc-asm-2022@rcbc.com, together with the stockholders' registration mail by 5 p.m. of June 19. If the name of the proxy was not specified, the stockholder shall be deemed as having appointed the chairperson as proxy. 6. We have tabulated the votes cast after the end of the proxy validation process, and as earlier mentioned, the votes cast are from stockholders representing 77.54% of the total outstanding shares. I will be referring to the results of the tabulation when I report the voting results throughout the meeting. This will also be reflected in the minutes. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. The next order of business is the approval of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on June 28, 2021. An electronic copy of the minutes is available on the website of the bank and attached to the definitive information statement. I will now ask our secretary to present the proposed resolution and the voting results on this item.
Madam Chair, management is proposing the adoption of resolution number 22-01 for the approval of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting held on June 28, 2021. The resolution is shown on the screen. Shareholders representing 1,580,041,890 shares, or 100% of the votes cast, voted in favor of resolution number 22-01. Therefore, the resolution is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. The next item in the agenda is the annual report, which includes the audited financial statements for 2021 to be presented by our President and CEO, Mr. Eugene Acevedo. Mr. Acevedo, please.
Okay. Dun, oo. Ay, oo. So, dun lang siya pwede mag-thank you, Mrs. D? Okay. And then, thank you, Mrs. D, for that introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. And then, with the ripple effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. Dun sa even without the pandemic. Okay. With the ripple effects of the COVID-19 pandemic still being felt in 2021, RCBC continued to navigate the ever-changing business and economic landscape to deliver on our purpose and create long-term value for stakeholders. Even without the pandemic, our business is already being disrupted. Okay, dyan na siya. All right. Okay. Okay. Mag-practice din daw siya ng mga 11 as agreed with Attorney George.
Yeah, yeah. So you get to remind him again later on,
Yeah.
Rob.
Sige,
Oo.
sige. Okay. So, I guess okay na yung sa slides niya, so we don't have to repeat it again. He'll do it himself later.
Rob, quick lang ha. So, mamaya, do sa practice sa kanila, saka sa actual, again, hindi ka maririnig. Pero ikaw lang yung pwede magsalita kasi baka sumagot sila sa'yo. Pag sumagot sila, maririnig sila. Oo, kasi baka malito sila eh.
This is promo ito
Yeah, correct. Okay. Sige, game na. Balik. Salad na? Thank you, Mr. Acevedo. May I now ask the Secretary to present the proposed resolution on this item and the voting results.
May maingay pa?
Oh, sorry. That's my
Okay.
that's my other meeting.
All right. Madam Chair, management is proposing the adoption of resolution number 22-02 for the approval of the bank's annual report and its audited financial statements as of December 31, 2021, as audited by Punong Bayan and Araulio. These are available at the bank's website and the PSE Edge, and were attached to the definitive information statement. The resolution is shown on the screen now. With stockholders representing 1,579,295,455 shares, or 99.95% of the votes cast voting in favor. Next slide na ata. Resolution number 22-02 is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. We now move to the next item in the agenda, the ratification of all acts and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the different committees and management since our annual stockholders meeting on June 28, 2021 until today. Mr. Secretary, please.
Madam Chair, the Board of Directors and management seek the ratification of all acts and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the Executive Committee, and other board committees which were adopted from June 28, 2021 until today. These acts and resolutions of the Board of Directors and its committees are reflected in the minutes of meetings, and they include the following: approval of contracts, treasury matters, other acts covered by disclosures of the SEC and PSE. Stockholders' ratification is also being sought for all acts of the bank's management. performed in accordance with the resolutions of the Board of Directors, the Executive Committee, and under the board committees as well as the bylaws from June 28 to date. These acts were performed to implement the resolutions of the Board of Directors or its committees or as part of the bank's general conduct of its business. Madam Chair, we are showing on the screen resolution number 22-03. With stockholders representing 1,579,295,455 shares or 99.95% of the votes cast voting in favor, resolution number 22-03 is hereby approved.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Next item is the confirmation of the significant transactions of the bank with its directors, officers, stockholders, and related interests, and other parties. Our corporate secretary will enumerate the significant RPTs for the year 2021 up to present.
Significant transactions with DOSRI and RPT for the year 2021 up to the present include the following: loans, receivables, and deposit liabilities, trading of investment securities, sale of APY Center to a subsidiary of House of Investments, Inc., sublease agreements with subsidiaries for occupancy in the RCBC Plaza, various service agreements with RCBC Capital Corporation, Rizal Microbank, Niog Property, and RCBC International Finance Limited, an agreement with RCBC Rental Corporation for the financing of 1,600 new ATMs. Also included are the administration and management of the retirement funds of some of the subsidiaries, leasing office premises to subsidiaries, accreditation of RCBC trust agent and of insurance companies, and regular banking transactions. Details of all these related party transactions are disclosed in the bank's SEC 17A report, which is also available at the bank's website. The bank's significant transactions with DOSRI and related parties are presented to the stockholders for confirmation in accordance with PSP Circular number 895 dated December 14, 2015. Madam Chair, we are showing on the screen resolution number 22-04. Stockholders representing 1,580,041,890 shares, or 100% of the votes cast, have voted for the adoption of resolution number 22-04. Therefore, the resolution has been adopted.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. The next order of business is the election of 15 members of the Board of Directors for the ensuing year.
Madam Chair, before we proceed, allow me to report to our stockholders the annual compensation of the directors as seen on the screen. We are sharing this information in compliance with corporate governance regulations of the SEC and the revised Corporation Code. Madam Chair, in accordance with our bylaws, manual on corporate governance, and the rules of the SEC on corporate governance, the following stockholders whose names are flashed on the screen were duly nominated to the Board of Directors of the bank for the ensuing term. We have 10 stockholders who were nominated as regular directors, namely 1, Ms. Helen Y.D., 2, Mr. Cesar Virata, 6, Mr. John Lo, 9, Attorney Lilia B. De Lima, and 10, Ms. Gayatri P. Berry. Nominated for the 5 slots for independent directors are the following: 1, Mr. Juan B. Santos, 5, Mr. Laurito E. Serrano. RCBC's Corporate Governance Committee has ascertained that all the nominees for directors are qualified to serve as directors of the bank. Madam Chair, each of the 50 nominees has garnered at least 99.99% of the votes cast. Given this, I certify that each of the nominees has received sufficient votes for election to the Board of Directors of RCBC. Accordingly, resolution number 22-05, as shown on the screen, has been duly approved.
Thank you. I would like to express my gratitude to all the directors for their hard work in the past years and for their willingness to be of service to the bank again. The next item in the agenda is appointment of the bank's external auditor Mr. Secretary, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The bank's Audit and Compliance Committee evaluated the performance during the past year of the bank's present external auditor, the firm of Punong Bayan and Araulio, and found it satisfactory. As such, the Audit and Compliance Committee and the Board of Directors have agreed to endorse once again na advance ata. Yung slide. Okay. As such, the Audit and Compliance Committee and the Board of Directors have agreed to endorse once again the appointment of Punong Bayan and Araulio as the bank's external auditor for the present fiscal year. Madam Chair, management is proposing the adoption of resolution number 22-06 as shown on the screen for the appointment of the bank's external auditor. Shareholders representing 1,580,041,890 shares, or 100% of the votes cast, have voted in favor of this resolution. Therefore, resolution number 22-06 is approved.
Thank you. I would like to express my gratitude to all the directors for their hard work in the past
Wait,
years.
Mali.
Mali. Sorry.
PNA na. Thank you. Amendment
Thank you,
na
Mr.
tayo.
Secretary. Okay. The next item in the agenda, is amendment of the bank's Articles of Incorporation. Mr. Secretary, please.
On April 28, 2022, the Board of Directors unanimously approved for endorsement to the stockholders the revision of the bank's Articles of Incorporation. There are two proposed amendments. First, it is to provide perpetual corporate term for the bank. Currently, RCBC's corporate term is 50 years per Article 4 of the bank's Articles of Incorporation. Under the revised Corporation Code, a corporation is granted perpetual corporate term. Accordingly, Article 4 will be amended for the bank to have perpetual corporate term as shown on the screen. The second amendment is to delete the 40% ownership limit under Article 7 of the Articles of Incorporation of the bank as shown on the screen. This is in line with the bank's intention to take in additional foreign capital. The deletion is consistent with Republic Act number 10641, which removes ownership limits of qualified foreign banks in existing Philippine banks. The bank continues to explore various capital raising opportunities, and the amendment will accommodate future capital infusion by new or existing foreign investors. Madam Chair, management is proposing the adoption of resolution number 22-07 for the revision of the bank's Articles of Incorporation, subject to regulatory approvals as shown on the screen. With stockholders representing 1,580,041,890 shares, or 100% of the votes cast voting in favor, resolution number 22-07 is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Are there other matters that require consideration by the stockholders?
There is none, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Management will now address the relevant questions and comments received from the stockholders, if any.
Madam Chair, there were no questions received from the stockholders.
Since there are no questions from the stockholders, the meeting is hereby adjourned. I thank you all for joining us. Keep safe, everyone. Thank you. Yay. Okay, so mga a minute before mag-end. Sabihin mo naman yung mamaya, Rob, no?
Tingnan natin kung mapangiti mo si Mrs. D.
Kaya nga. Kaya nga. Ano to, may one comment lang ako. So hindi ko lang alam kung sa akin, pero patanong siguro kay Attorney Cecil saka kay Mirla. Parang may mga slides sa feeling ko hindi ganoon ka-clear. Kasi diba white font tayo and blue. So yung mga maliliit na font, malinaw siya sa actual PowerPoint pero I think sa broadcast, but doon sa Zoom.
Actually, Mrs., mas malinaw siya sa YouTube. Nag-screen seconds and after. Pero may napansin ako with regards to the transition. So, for example, on the next slide, no, parang may few seconds lang nakita pa rin yung previous slide. So, tas mga 1, 2, 3, saka siya lilinaw. I'm not
Parang naglalag.
Oo. I'm not sure if internet ko yun. Pero kitang-kita kasi yung pag nag-transition ka to next slide, kita yung previous slide, pero malabo. Tas 1, 2, 3, saka siya lilinaw.
Nakasave ba yung YouTube? After streaming, nakasave. So, pwede nating i-playback para ma-check.
Yun.
Okay.
Screenshot ako, Mr. I can go there para pakita ko sa'yo.
Kasi Mirla, kung ano siya, Rob, correct mo ako ha? Kasi kung internet siya, pag pinanood natin yung playback, dapat makokorek siya.
Oo nga. Yes.
So, kung sa playback, ganun siya,
Better than Zoom siya. Yes, Rob. Pero ako kasi I watch sa YouTube. So yung concern ko is from the YouTube na sa stream. Yung sinasabi ko na when you go to the next slide, medyo kita pa yung previous slide pero sobrang labo siya. After 3 seconds, tsaka siya lilinaw. So I can send sa Viber para you can see. Wait, I'll send now.
Attorney Cecil, ganun din ang
Yes,
experience.
sir. Yung sa akin, sir, hindi. Pero yung more of yung comments ko yung sa tickler, sir, yung nilagay nila, may corrections lang. Tapos yung
Okay.
yung may mga slide na dapat ang alam ko kasabay yun ni chair, pero napupunta na sa inyo, sir. Tapos yung picture nung board, yun yung sobrang parang hindi na nakita. Parang 1 second lang ata.
Oo. Sige.
Okay.
Oo. Actually, napakita nyo, kaya lang ang bilis.
1 second lang. Parang
Oo. Dapat yun yung nagsasalita na si Chair, di ba? That I would like to thank them for accepting.
yes.
Oo.
So,
Kailang maganda yung quality, Cecil?
Maganda naman, sir. Yung sa inyo, sir, pag yung katabi niyo yung slide, hindi ko alam kung ako lang yung nakakapansin. Parang masyado lang, compared last year, parang nakikita ko lang masyado na nagbabasa kayo. Pero yung pag nilayo na, pag malaki na siya yung slide, yung kayo lang, wala na yung PowerPoint, okay naman siya tignan. So, hindi ko lang kung
Blurred
sa
ako,
camera
ibig sabihin.
or-
Blurred ako.
Hindi, sir, malinaw. Yung itsura nyo lang, sir, on how you nagbabasa. Yun. Kasi yung kay
Halata.
Mrs. maganda eh. Maganda yung ano niya eh. Hindi siya. Yung sa inyo, sir, parang kitang-kita nagbabasa.
sorry.
paano
Yung
yun?
comment ang ay, sige, go ahead, George.
Cecil,
So hindi ko alam, sir, kung sa camera ba yon or sa sa angulo ba yun.
nakatingin kasi ako sa paper, gano'n. Titingin ako sa screen. Okay, sige. Okay.
Tapos, yung sa number 2, yung sa reso, hindi ko nakitahan ng tickler si sir doon nung nagsasalita. Tapos,
Saan, Cecil?
yung sa, nung binabasa nyo na yung resolution, sir, kasi yung hindi ko napansin nung time ni Mikey kung may tickler eh. So, yung sa inyo, sir, I was expecting na may lalabas na tickler nung sa resolution number 2, doon sa EFS and annual report. Yung sa resolution number 2, may tickler po ba talaga doon o wala? Wait lang. Bubuksan ko pa yung Pwede po bang hingin yung nilagay dun sa mga ticklers para maano po yung corrections?
Slide number 2, Cecil.
Reso 2, sir. Resolution number 2.
Rob, Mirla, padala na lang ulit. Kasi nung kinorek ko siya, Attorney Cecil, ano lang, punctuations, saka capitalization usually yung kinorek ko.
Okay. May capitalization lang din yung iba.
May isa pa? Sige. Ginawa ko lang consistent kasi yung iba nakakapital lahat, tapos yung iba naman nakasentence na hindi. So parang consistency lang.
Okay. Yung tapos yung slide number 72 and 73, nag-revise kami doon yung 70 muna pala. 70 yung slide to 63 ata siya. Yung bago, yung nilagay namin sa amendment of the Articles of Incorporation to provide for the perpetual corporate term of the bank. RCBC corporate term is 50 years per Article 4. Oo, yung nakita ko sa YouTube, may line siya. May line siya sa baba ng revised corporation code. At tinanggal na. Tapos yung next slide niyan. Yan, yung ni-revise namin yung Article 4, pakigawa pong fourth. So may TH. And then the next slide. Tapos yung 7, magiging Article 7. May TH lang. Yun lang po. Okay po.
Cecil, on this slide, yung dalawang, can you go back to that slide? Sorry. Yung next. This is the discussion lang kasi, tama. Okay. Kasi iba yung resolution,
Yes, sir. Sunod-sunod po yung sa reso, sir. Yung
Ayan. Okay. Okay. Sige. All right.
Okay. Ano pa? Okay na tayo, no?
wala na mag-comments.
Okay.
Ay, Mrs. may comment ako pero sinabi ko na kay Mirla about yung alignment lang ng fonts in some slides. Pero okay na raw yan, sabi ni Mirla.
Okay. Baka yung mga comments si Attorney Cecil, na-take ba lahat? Medyo marami lang kasi. Just want to make sure na we're able to Somebody wrote it down naman, no? Or can you...
You can play the tickler now, so we can all see, Rob.
Sige, yun na lang para ma-check na natin. May time naman.
Okay, yung I sent the ticker file na sa email mo. Pa-check na lang para the agency can revise now.
We can look now. We have time naman.
Sige po. Okay, sir.
Yung punctuation. Semicolon. The semicolon. After CEO. Pero colon lang yung kanina.
Ito ba yan, Cecil? Or
Yun ba yun? Yung punctuation ng after CEO?
or farther?
Hindi, pero correct din natin yun. Kasi semicolon yun, whereas yung before
Sir,
that
yung
colon.
next lang. Kasi yung for example, yung sa next declare, yung corporate secretary, sir, small letters yung corporate secretary. So mga ganun lang naman, sir. Tapos yung spacing, mas malaki yung spacing dun sa, parang may extra space before the word management. Tapos management is small letters, so dapat capital. Mga ganun lang.
Ako ito lang, yung semicolon
Oo,
after
dapat
CEO.
dapat comma.
Oo.
Can you change that na, Rob? All right. Yung stockholders, actually, dapat may apostrophe.
Yun pa pala.
Okay, that seems good.
Okay, corrected na.
Ito yung kay Cecil.
Corporate, ayun yung corporate, yung C, corporate secretary.
Okay.
Sir, dadagdagan pa po ba ng phrasing with regard to the quorum? Kasi ang nakalagay lang ata dito sa first part yung minutes lang. A tickler.
Cecil, again?
Yung tickler kasi, sir, if I remember it correctly, it only discusses, nakalagay parang discuss the approval of the minutes. Ay, hindi. Parang minutes ba? Ano ba yung nakalagay? Basta yung, pakita nga po yung first tickler.
Yung next, you mean? We're still at the notice of meeting.
Yung notice, sir, pala, the notice, tapos, kasi yung topic niya, notice and quorum. Tapos yung laman nung tickler, it's about only the how, were the stockholders notified. So, are we going to add na about something about the quorum?
Okay. So let's go back to the
Third yata yun.
third tickler.
Third
Susunod.
na yun. Yeah.
Hindi.
Third.
Number
Number
2.
two.
Okay.
Sure. Yung the corporate secretary explains how the stockholders were notified.
So lagyan natin the corporate secretary confirms quorum. The corporate secretary confirms that there is quorum. Okay na, Cecil?
Sir, pwede ko bang i-review na lang po yung ticklers para hindi na tayo magtagal? I-ano ko na lang po lahat, tapos isi-send ko na lang para implement na lang nila ng sabay-sabay.
O sige. Meron ka pa ba? Meron pa ba?
Meron sir. Ano lang naman sir, yung ika-capital lang po yung ibang letters, tapos tatanggalin lang yung spacing. Mga ganun lang naman sir.
Okay, sige. Okay, so
So
what do we do now?
we have 20 minutes until ESA comes into practice. Okay. So sige, so rest muna. Pero Mikey, bahala ka na to set up para pagdating niya, okay na?
Okay, nandito na yung script niya. Hindi na siya naka-stapler. I already informed him when he's done with this meeting, he shall proceed here.
Okay, nakapin
Alright.
na Mikey, no?
Nakapin na yung broadcast.
Okay, thanks.
Wala kasi yung volume. Okay lang.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
sige.
Mikey,
Yes,
alam
sir.
niya na magpa-practice muna siya, no? Na wala pa
Yes.
si Mikey.
Yes.
Ah,
So,
Alright.
doon sa practice with Mrs. D, hindi niya nababasahin the whole thing.
Just a part. Yung first and last, no?
Alright.
Ano bang kwan natin?
First-
Unless Mrs. D says we read the
Insist.
entire thing.
Okay. Sige po. Alright.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
Break
you.
muna ha.
All right, break.
Attorney Esa still in a call. Po. Hindi pa tapos yung kanyang 10 to 11.
Alright. Okay.
Ay, pero while we're waiting, Mirla, si Dino naman, alam niya na ano, no, na standby talaga siya na paglabas ni na ma'am sa room, set up na siya.
Yes, ma'am. Yes po.
Sige. Paano lang para mamaya hindi tayo mag-instruct?
Sige.
Pasabi lang na yung pag-pin nung broadcast.
Okay, ma'am. Sige. Tawagan ko si Dino ngayon.
Kasi actually, Mirla, pwede naman niyang buksan na para hindi na siya mag-start up ng computer later, di ba?
Sige, ma'am. Kausap.
Sige.
Yan na niyang i-set up kahit yung laptop lang para ready na.
Oo, kasi feeling ko magmamadali si ma'am mamaya eh.
Okay.
Thank you.
May meeting kasi ata siya, Ses, using the room.
Oo. Pero request lang si Dino na yung naka-on na yung computer, tapos kasi pwede naman mag-log si Dino, di ba? I-move lang niya yung computer. Kasi baka mamaya pag nag-start siya, pag tapos na, baka may extra, di ba, medyo mainitin si ma'am.
Yep. Sige.
Tapos magla-lunch na yun. So malamang may ka-lunch pa siya nung Friday.
I'll go to Dino now.
Kausap din daw ni Mirla George na i-on lang yung computer para lang ano.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
Ito for Dino na. Ma'am, naka-set up na daw kasi yung mga equipment sa room ni HYD ngayon. So, even the laptop. Hindi lang daw niya ma-on kasi nandun si HYD with may mga meet daw siya.
Sige. So, at least nandun na, naka-set up na.
Naka-set up naman na daw, Mrs. Hindi niya na tinanggal after our meeting yesterday.
Okay, cool. Pasabi lang yung yung reminder lang to pin.
Yes,
Kasi
ma'am.
mamaya, 'di ba, i-remind natin si ma'am na yung pin.
Yes, ma'am. Sinabi ko na rin po kay Sir Dino.
Okay, thanks.
Ando pa si LVT.
Okay.
May kausap sila. Okay na yung mga ticker natin.
Attorney George, hindi pa daw na-send ni Ma'am Cecil.
Okay. Sige.
Ma'am Cecil, pa-send na lang diretso dito sa Zoom chat daw.
Send ko na lang sa email para hindi ako marunong nun.
Okay, ma'am. Sige, sa akin na lang. Thank you.
Okay.
Rob, Ian, are we forgetting anything? Okay naman na, no? We should be okay. Okay. Tess, okay na ka na sa kwan? Sa iyong
Intro?
intro?
Yes, yes. Basta ano lang ha, Rob, yung mga iba na as you go through, mas maganda kasi yung iba din na demo, yung what we talked about kanina, yung countdown. Sige. Okay. So Rob, I'll take siguro mga 1 minute max just to tell her what to expect. So first is the choice to run down ng buo or just 40 minutes. Buo na 40 minutes or just, the shorter version. And then just to tell her of what to expect. So maybe just a minute. Mabilis lang. But I will not talk about the program kasi that's best for you to
Ay, Mrs. S is joining.
Okay.
Like now. Okay, tapos practice natin yung camera height and lighting.
Pero hindi makita yung mga, ito.
Ay, mga award. Yeah.
Move it because it's behind me.
I-ready na natin yung start tayo from SS intro siguro. Hi sir, good morning.
Morning, Eugene.
I can see George Gilbert de la Cuesta, but I cannot see.
You can see the rest, boss. Si Seth.
There. My beautiful Chief Marketing Officer. I can see her now.
Hey sir. So
She looks
sir,
like
for
an Afghani refugee.
it's cold here, it's winter in BGC.
Diba, George?
Okay.
She looks like an refugee from Afghanistan.
Ashmina to. Sir, yung...
Hang on. They have to move to the left and to the right because they cannot be seen.
Yeah, they sent
But
it
they're
pa naman
covered
last
by
time.
me. So you made so much effort to bring them in, they cannot be seen. I'll be wearing whatever I'll wear on Monday. Monday na pala.
Okay lang sir na hindi not necessarily blue because everything is blue. Para you stand out. So like not necessarily a blue tie, I think. That's my reco lang.
There's a pink tie.
Yun.
You're telling me not to use it so that I will use it. Okay.
Okay. So sir, quick lang before we start. The pin video in front of you is just what the viewers will see. So all of us on top, just us will see it. The viewers will not see it.
Okay.
But for your, we start with, Rob, we start with yung intro kay Esa kasi we have only a few minutes for him to rehearse the portion of his speech. Sige, you want me to start with yung intro from HYD? Okay. The next item in the agenda, sir, are you ready? Is it okay? Okay. So, the next item in the agenda is the annual report, which includes the audited financial statements for 2021, to be presented by our President and CEO, Mr. Eugene Acevedo. Mr. Acevedo, please.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. With the ripple effects of the COVID-19 pandemic still being felt in 2021, RCBC continued to navigate the ever-changing business and economic landscape to deliver on our purpose and create long-term value for our stakeholders. Even without the pandemic, our business is already being disrupted by rapidly changing customer expectations, increasing regulation, and intensifying competition from banks, as well as other players such as fintechs and telcos. The unprecedented pandemic, however, brought three things to light. One, even the best laid plans could go awry as our business is increasingly being shaped by what's happening in the world around us, from economic, social, and political developments to the changing regulatory environment. Two, even the worst crisis could open up windows of opportunities, more so if we are agile, digital, connected, and entrepreneurial. And three, innovation is no longer optional, but has become imperative for business to succeed. While these insights are nothing new, they became crystal clear when our very survival was put on the line during the pandemic. Because of these insights, we have learned to cope with the new operating environment, even as we continue to be on the lookout for black swans that could set us back. Inevitably, grappling with uncertainty will now be a way of life. Thus, we should turn every crisis into a chance to serve our customers better with empathy, stay ahead of the game, and seize pockets of opportunities that emerge in our operating environment. While there was reluctance to lend due to lingering market uncertainty, RCBC found a way to step up to the plate. We looked at the entire spectrum and saw borrowers from safe haven sectors that deserve credit assistance. Many of these borrowers, from SMEs to conglomerates, were longtime depositors who have stayed with RCBC through generations. The pandemic gave us the opportunity to reward their trust and loyalty with our partnership so they not only survive, but thrive. We did not go to battle armed with just noble intentions. Our steadfast determination to serve these sectors came from data-driven decisions. This strategy served us in good stead, enabling us to expand our customer base. Our consolidated net income rose to an all-time high in 2021 to 7.08 billion, or by 41.2%, from 5.02 billion in 2020. This was spurred by a 71.6% increase in the fourth quarter of 2021 alone to 1.75 billion from 1.02 billion a year earlier, as lockdown restrictions further eased, boosting consumer confidence and benefiting our core businesses. Our return on equity improved to 6.7% from 5.5%, while return on assets was at 0.84% from 0.68%. Customer loans accelerated at a faster pace than industry by 12.4% to 513.1 billion. This led to a 9.7% growth in net interest income to 28.8 billion, mostly from the corporate segment, which rose by 14.6%, and from SMEs, which grew by 18.6%. Consumer loans also inched up by 5.1%. Through prudent credit practices, we managed to keep a lid on our non-performing loans, or NPLs, at 18.34 billion, bringing our NPL ratio to 3.3%. This translated to a 35% reduction in the loan loss reserves we needed to set aside in 2021, or to 6.06 billion from 9.38 billion year on year. Our operating expenses only slightly increased by 2.2% to 22.54 billion from 22.05 billion in 2020. We expect our digitization process to contribute to further improvement in our cost-to-income ratio in the coming years. Our deposits rose by an unprecedented 25.5% to 672.5 billion in 2021, stronger than the industry average. The level of investment securities more than doubled, while total earning assets expanded by 30.8%. RCBC remained well capitalized with a capital adequacy ratio and common equity tier 1 ratio of 15.2% and 12.2% respectively in 2021. With a 4.48 billion fresh capital infused in RCBC in June 2021 by Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, we have ramped up our tech investments and are working on collaboration and synergy opportunities in key business areas. Behind these numbers is a story that needs to be told. It is a story of the bank's courage and agility in execution. During the pandemic, we have witnessed how consumers quickly embraced new digital solutions, as shown by the growing demand for online banking. In our new digital society, customers are more engaged, highly empowered, and very meticulous in their choices. Nowadays, the benchmark is a 24/7 frictionless omni-channel experience when accessing products and services. This customer behavior is now driving the digital ambition of banks. Like RCBC, all banks are now in a race to provide the best customer experience. But harnessing the latest technology to improve customer experience is not enough. We need to build capabilities from within, strengthen our core, and create a new mindset. This is the persistent pursuit that runs through our DNA, driving innovation across our organization, culture, and processes. People usually associate innovation with a beautiful mobile app. And to some extent, that is true. What lies beneath, however, is the real test. This was the design thinking when we packed RCBC Digital with the most powerful features. We needed to perform a lot of back office re-engineering to become more efficient and reduce turnaround time. We had to deploy robotic process automation, or RPA, to improve both customer and employee experiences. And after all is said and done, we always go back to the customer. We spend time asking them, understanding their needs and pain points, immersing ourselves in their situation, and ideating potential solutions. Then we test our solutions and go back to the customer again so they can tell us if it works or not. It is important that we provide banking services that our customers are delighted with. At each point, whether at the level of the branch or on the RCBC Digital, RCBC Online Banking, for corporate or Discartech, our commitment is to innovate for the customer. Banking products such as RCBC Hexagon Club, RCBC One Account, and the recently launched RCBC Green Time Deposit were developed with the customer in mind. Their resounding response serves proof of their trust and confidence in our work. The 58 awards and recognition we received from prestigious publications and organizations in 2021 are badges we wear proudly. They inspire us to embrace more novel ways of deepening our insights as we make RCBC the best in providing exceptional customer experience. Our ability to win the battle of hearts and minds relies largely on the trust of all our stakeholders. to be a trusted financial institution, we must also ensure the integrity of customer data and their privacy to be operationally resilient as well as compliant with regulations. At the end of the day, to earn stakeholders' trust is to harness all our innovations for the greater good in support of solving society's problems. We have already shown this at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, where through Discartec and ATM Go terminals, we led a private sector coalition to ensure the timely disbursement of 9.3 billion in emergency aid to vulnerable households. In 2021, we stepped up on our national contributions to meet the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals through our pioneering efforts, such as issuing our 17.9 billion ASEAN Sustainability Bond, the largest issuance in the bank's 61-year history. This came after setting a milestone in 2019 with our 8.0 billion peso denominated bond, the first to be issued and listed in the Philippines in compliance with the ASEAN Sustainability Bond standard. We are also determined to lead the charge in sustainable financing in the country and have grown our total eligible sustainable portfolio by 28.5% to 67 billion in 2021. Of the total eligible sustainable portfolio, renewable energy and energy efficient projects account for 60%. RCBC's journey towards being a sustainable business, a leading innovator, and a strong partner for generations is far from over. While we expect 2022 to be a better year overall for the Philippine economy, there will be headwinds that we will need to overcome. Time and again, we have proven that our success is only made possible because we have steady and true partners in our journey. Each and every RCBC banker, our customers who have trusted us through generations, and our shareholders and board of directors for the purposeful collaboration and teamwork. The challenges we have all experienced in the past 2 years of the pandemic make our performance in 2021 all the more meaningful. Let us continue to make it count for every Filipino to whom we have made a commitment to serve wherever they are in the world. Thank you.
Right.
Sure, sige.
Yung ring light nakikita sa glasses ni...
Yeah, ina-adjust ko
Esa?
siya as sir was speaking.
Okay na.
The problem lang is the more I adjust it, babalik tayo dun sa problem na isang side lang yung may ilaw.
Yung line pala na it is important that we provide banking services that make our customers. It's a correct line pala, no? I read it. I post somewhere that caused the...
It's 13 minutes, boss. Okay na.
Huh?
13 minutes yung entire speech.
Okay lang yun.
Okay
No?
na yan.
How was it before? 13 is just right.
Yeah, parang in line lang with your previous.
All right.
Okay, so...
Okay naman yung lighting ni Esa, no? Rob, okay naman? Okay na? Clear?
Since nawala na siya now. Okay.
Oo.
Saka mas malinaw naman yung ano, 'di ba? Yung stream.
Cecil, okay ba?
Yung stream ba, Attorney Cecil?
Yes po.
Gwapo na, Esa, gwapo.
Ay, nako. Naririnig mo ba? Susulat ko dito. Discreet with the paper. So I'll say, thank you, ma'am, discreet with the paper. Okay.
Tapos, sir, while sasabihin namin din
2
ulit
to 3
mamaya,
seconds before. Okay, I wrote na the reminder said 2 to 3 seconds after the ano, and then I'll wait for the cue. Wait for
You mean yung live? Yung
okay.
live.
Okay. Okay. They're not really looking forward to seeing me, etc. Anyway, no. So this is not about me. This is about the bank. I just need to make sure I don't screw up. But otherwise, I'm okay. I'm happy. Thanks very much.
thanks, sir. Sir,
I have to remind, ano pala, one reminder. Smile.
yeah.
Esa, Mrs. D will join us in a while,
Yeah, in 11:30.
11:30.
Ay, oo nga pa, malapit na.
Oo. When she's back, we'll ask her whether she wants an entire run-through or snippets lang. So if
She'll
she says
probably say snippets.
snippets lang, siguro yung first slide mo lang, boss, ang babasahin, and the last line, and the last slide.
Oh, sige.
Okay.
Yeah, sige, I'll
But you're good, boss. You're good. Ganda.
Sir, if you want, baka we can message Mikey pag on na kasi 11:30 Dino will set up pa kay Mrs. D dahil ginagamit niya yung room.
So anong gagawin natin dito? So I get off na?
Well, if you want, well, 11:30 daw kasi siya matatapos tapos i-on pa ni Dino yung computer.
No, dito na lang ako. I'll just hang around here.
Okay.
So you know, you can stare at me if you want.
Tapos sir, sasabihin din mamaya ni Rob ko, his voice can be heard only by us. Ande, sige.
Sorry, can you repeat that? Dumaan si LBT.
Tapos na yung meeting.
Tapos na sila, ibig sabihin.
Tapos na yung meeting.
Yung pala yun.
Yeah. Yung voice ni Rob, sir, only us can hear it. But if you speak, then everyone can hear it.
Okay.
Yan. But we'll explain later, sir.
Buti na lang I lost some weight before this meeting.
Nahalata nga, sir.
Yeah, my entry picture looks fat.
Di naman.
Yung sa annual report, boss? Okay
Oo.
naman. Okay naman.
No.
Okay naman.
Only because there are more fat people than me in this bank.
Grabe.
Ouch, ouch.
Ay. Kaya kailangan natin ng shawl eh. Mirla, pag nag-on na si Dino ha, sabihan tayo.
Yes, Miss Sai.
Ayan, nandiyan pala si Shield sa si Dante. Hello guys. Sis. Hi, afternoon.
Hi, ma'am.
Nakasalalay sa IT. Ang ano. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Afternoon, ma'am.
Dino, can we request you to pin the video before we start?
Paano pa ginagawa yun, ma'am, dito?
Okay, so, Rob, can you give the instructions?
Yung broadcast.
Yan, ma'am. Okay na.
Nakikita na ni ma'am yung ano, yung broadcast nasa gitna.
Dino, nakapin na.
Yes, sir. Okay na.
Okay.
Okay.
Kapin na.
Yun, nakapin na kayo.
We start.
There's no broadcast. What are you talking about?
Yung name, ma'am, yung name.
Annual stockholders meeting, ma'am, in the middle.
None.
None. Wala. Okay.
Broadcast yan.
Okay. Nakalagay, sir, replace pin.
Yes.
Pin. Pindutin mo.
Yan, broadcast na. Yung nakikita namin ngayon.
Right.
Yung nasa gitna na nakikita nyo will be the blue broadcast. Nandiyan yung photo ni ma'am saka ni George.
Yes.
Okay.
Wala. Anong photo?
Ito po, itong dalawa. Yung video. Video, ano ma'am.
Yung malaki, ma'am. At isa baba.
Yeah, I can see Ma'am and George.
I-center. Ay. Hindi kasi. Ayun, naka-center naman po.
Rob, we can start.
I'll do a quick intro. So good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, for this rundown, we can do the entire script at 40 minutes, which is how we timed it, or we can do a shorter version. Which would you prefer? Ma'am, the entire rundown is meaning we read the script from start to finish, and it will take 40 minutes.
I'm not going to read it.
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am. Okay, ma'am, so for the shorter version, what will happen is Attorney George will just read the first and last sentence of his spiel, and then Esa just the intro, so we can practice. Okay, and then ma'am, in the laptop in front of you, the screen that you will see, the one that we asked you to pin, that's the only thing that the viewers will see. So all of us, the thumbnails on top, the viewers will not see that. And for example, for yourself, if you're not on the middle screen, then the audience will not see you. And then ma'am, your
Ano?
mic.
They will not see me.
Ang nakikita lang po ng audience, ma'am. Ito, ma'am.
That's
Pero
why
ito, ma'am, hindi po nakikita.
that will remain there permanently.
Rob, can you show ma'am in the middle para she knows when she's seen? Yan. Ma'am, pag nandun na kayo sa gitna, in the middle, then that's when they see you. But unless your photo is there, unless your video is there, then they won't see you.
You keep on saying photo. That's the wrong term.
Video.
Video,
Ayun,
ma'am, video, sorry.
Video.
I
Video.
think we should put a more experienced person coordinator.
Sorry, ma'am. So,
Kanina
unless,
pa ako nahihilo sa iyo eh.
sorry, ma'am. So unless you can see your image or your video, then they won't, the viewers will not be able to see you. Okay, and then ma'am, for the sound, for the mic, Rob from the agency will be audible to us only. So he can give instructions to you. He can say, it's your turn, or 3, 2, 1, he can do a countdown. But only us can hear him. So don't worry if it speaks. Only us in this Zoom can hear him. The audience will not be able to hear him.
Sample nga, i-sample mo na lang.
Sample mo, Rob. Pero hindi.
But the video is delayed reaction, no? So what is this, YouTube?
No.
This is Zoom or YouTube? But that, Why is it so delayed?
Yung internet natin, ma'am, plus yung internet pa nila na nag-focus. So, dalawang internet connection ang nagpapas kaya may delay.
Eh bakit kung nagsuzoom tayo, hindi naman?
Kasi isang stage lang ng internet yan, ma'am. May isa pang stage pa yung internet nila sa studio.
Okay, let's go.
Okay, so maybe we can do a rundown now from start to finish, but Rob shorter as we said kanina. Rob, so that mom can see from the start, maski from the countdown, para she knows what to expect.
We don't need to stand up.
Okay, good afternoon.
Then we can proceed na siguro. Rob.
Yes, Madam Chair, we sent our stockholders of record the notice of today's annual stockholders meeting in 3 ways. Accordingly, our stockholders have been duly notified. In addition, the voting rights of stockholders were provided in the definitive information statement made available to the stockholders. Yes, Madam Chair, there are present in this meeting a total of 1,580,041,890 shares of stock representing 77.54% of the total outstanding shares. Therefore, we have a quorum and this meeting may proceed. Madam Chair, the rules of conduct and voting and tabulation are in the notice of the annual stockholders meeting. I would just like to highlight the following. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Madam Chair, management is proposing the adoption of resolution number 22-01 for the approval of the minutes of the annual stockholders meeting last June 28, 2021. The resolution is shown on the screen. Shareholders representing 1,580,041,890 shares voted in favor of this resolution. Therefore, it is approved.
Thank you, ma'am. With the ripple effects of the COVID-19 pandemic still being felt in 2021, RCBC continued to navigate the ever-changing business and economic landscape to deliver on our purpose and create long-term value for our stakeholders. Then we go on to the older slides, and I end my last slide saying, the challenges we have all experienced in the past 2 years of the pandemic make our performance in 2021 all the more meaningful. Let us continue to make it count for every Filipino to whom we have made a commitment to serve wherever they are in the world. Thank you.
Rob?
Madam Chair, management is proposing the adoption of resolution number 22-02 for the approval of the bank's annual report and its audited financial statements. These were posted and attached to the definitive information statement. The resolution is shown on the screen, with stockholders representing 1 billion shares or 99.95% of the votes cast voting in favor. Resolution 22-02 is approved. Madam Chair, the Board of Directors and Management seek the ratification of all acts and resolutions of the Board of Directors, the Executive Committee, and the other board committees, which were adopted from June 28, 2021 until today. These acts and resolutions are reflected in the minutes of meetings, and they include the following. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stockholders' ratification is also being sought for all the acts of the bank's management performed in accordance with the resolutions of the Board of Directors, the Executive Committee. These were all performed to implement the resolutions of the Board as part of the bank's general conduct of its business. We are now showing on screen resolution number 22-03, with stockholders representing 1 billion shares or 99.95% of the votes cast voting in favor. Resolution number 22-03 is approved.
Why are we going through all of this?
Sige na ma'am, we can skip na.
Oh.
I thought that's what we agreed on.
Okay.
So let's go to X.
Other matters, Rob? Slide 16. There are no other matters, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, to date, there were no questions received from the stockholders.
Okay. That's it.
Yes, that's it, ma'am.
Okay.
And then the audio, Rob. But if they respond, then
Okay.
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 Thank
thank
you.
you. Thank you. Okay.
Okay.
We
Thank
can turn off na.
Dino, stay siguro.
Oh, Dino.
Thank you, Eugene.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Paper.
Thank you.
Dino.
Dino.
Si Dino. Wala na si Dino.
Eh, wala si Dino. Ayan si Dino.
Sir George, tawag po kayo ni HYD.
Okay.
Sige. Dino, ako lang pa-make sure lang na dun sa day itself nakapin na siya. Bye Esa and Mikey.
Okay.
Sige. Anything else na na kailangan natin from Mirla and Attorney Cecil? Comments or from IT?
Mrs., yung comment lang yesterday ni Sir Ian, medyo maliit nga si HY kapag nag-tandem na sila ni Attorney George. Halatang halata lang siya sa screen.
Parang ang lapit nung nung camera ni HY.
Hindi medyo malayo actually.
Malayo na actually.
Malayo ba?
Kasi parang she leans back kasi, she doesn't move forward. So baka kailangan i-adjust yung camera niya.
So i-practice natin ng pinatay na ni Dino eh. So on Monday, since we log in a little bit earlier, we practice. Sige. Anything else?
Ipako mo yung silya.
Okay.
Performance.
And then the ticker lang, I already sent an email to Mirla. I just noticed the first ticker, it doesn't refer to the other directors. So let's just add the other directors before the officers as attending online. All right.
Joyce, okay naman. Cecil?
Okay naman, sir. Yung delay lang talaga medyo kaya napansin din ni Chair kasi it's really close to a minute. Actually, I timed the delay. Medyo nagiging close to a minute sometimes. So
sa
baka
YouTube
that's...
yun?
Yeah, sa YouTube. Yeah, sa YouTube siya talaga, so we can't do anything about that. So baka that's why also napapansin niyang maigi.
Tapos,
but okay naman.
Hindi.
Yeah, she's not naman.
Hindi. Cecil, Joyce, anything else?
Ako, that's it. It's just siguro yung, minsan siguro you guys will just have to, while talking, look up more kasi otherwise, pag medyo tuloy-tuloy yung binabasa, it looks like
Hindi natin nasabihan si Esa pala, no?
It looks like they're sleeping, parang nakapikit yung mga mata nila.
si Esa nakatingin sa tumitingin sa camera.
Bakit? Yeah, tumitingin siya, pero medyo mahaba pa din yung times na it looks as if he's nakapikit. Especially pag nandun na siya sa small square. I don't know why. Mas nakikita siya doon na
Kasi nakafocus yung mukha niya. Kasi doon sa big
siguro,
square nakaganyan eh.
yeah, oo. So parang pansin na pansin, parang nakapikit. Pero he looks up naman. Oo, he looks up naman.
Okay na tayo, no?
That
Yeah,
was
other than that, okay na.
Okay.
So we got what we want naman, ano? We told them. Oh yes, she will know.
Yes, oo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anything else kaya na na di natin, may nakalimutan ba tayong sabihin kasi nagmadali talaga siya eh. May nakalimutan ba tayong di ko na-remind yung phone to be silent. Yan.
Dino, ikaw na lang siguro.
Apo.
I'm sure she'll be conscious.
Oo.
Oo.
Meron ba tayong hindi nasabi sa kanya? Mukhang yun naman, 'di ba, na so hindi niya
Dino-
kailangan tumayo sa lupang hinirang kasi hindi naman siya nakikita. 'Di ba? Okay din lang siya maggalaw-galaw kasi hindi naman siya naririnig sa simula. Pero
Dino, ikaw
once
na
na
bahala doon.
Apo.
Oo. Nandyan ka naman, ano, sa tabi niya.
Sa tabi lang po ako during na.
Okay. Yung silya ba niya meron ng cushion kanina o wala pa?
Meron. Yun na yung
Meron na.
Tapos Dino, request naman na hawak mo yung phone mo para pwede tayo mag-Viber in
Okay.
case lang.
Sige.
Basta wag maingay.
Ay, oo. Baka phone mo yung hindi naka-silent. Ano to? Sinong mag-message kay Dino? Mirla, ikaw na lang. In case lang, emergency,
Okay, ma'am.
kailangan nating sabihan.
Sige, ma'am.
Okay. So ang pending na lang yung ticker, no?
Yes, Attorney George.
Oo. Wala na yung last slide, no? Okay.
Yes po.
Okay. Cecil, meron na ba tayo nung agenda sa board? She just called me. Yung may speaker.
Sige, sir, send ko po.
Sige.
Cecil, please make sure to, I'll call you separately.
Sige. Pati yung organizational, no? Okay. All right.
Okay. Thank
All right,
you, everyone.
thanks everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Happy Friday.
So what time do we log in sa Monday? You guys, paano? Yung technical? Oo, kasi we have our board meeting. Hopefully, matapos kami by 3 or 3:30. Joyce, Cecil,
Yes, sir.
meron pa ba? Ano pa ba? Anything?
Nothing else, sir. I already sent out the link for the directors who will be attending online, and with the advice that they can access as early as 3:45.
All right.
Sorry, last na. In which case, since my board, I'm sure na para lang just in case, no. So si Dino, and then George, also Mikey for ESA, naka-set up na yung laptop even while you're attending the board.
I'll be using the same laptop for the board.
So okay ka lang.
Oo.
Si Dino, si ma'am, will she be using the same device for the board?
Pwedeng hiwalay natin para
Hiwalay na natin,
niya.
Dino.
Oo.
Ayaw niya? Ayaw niya?
I-support na lang yung iPad niya. Tapos yung dito sa stockholders, hiwalay natin.
What
Para
if
mabilis siya
George?
mag-transfer.
Unless gusto niya dyan din.
Ay,
Yeah.
mas comfortable siya sa sa iPad.
Kabila, other end of the table.
Yes.
Sige. Okay.
Okay.
What else?
Mukhang yun na, no?
Yep. Nothing
Alright.
more from our end.
Okay.
Good luck to all of us.
Thanks,
Thank you, guys.
everyone.
Happy Friday.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you.